Welcome, everyone. This is Palace Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week, I'm joined by Krister,
Hello.
Cinders,
Hello.
and Sanswinda. Sans?
She said it, but she said the whole entire word was silent.
Hello.
Sans' voice, apparently, is...
Yes, slight technical difficulties today. Sorry, guys.
All right. Then let's continue on with our Update 45 discussion. And this time we are going to be discussing PVMP.
Woohoo!
Whee! So we've talked about the burglar changes.
I have a lot of release notes links there. I see three release notes links. I'm kind of starting to panic right now. Kind of getting sweaty.
They get shorter as you go down the list.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Sam.
That's because as you go down the list, they're just repairing the problems that the first one caused.
Oh, okay. I was like, how many release notes are there? Oh,
no. Literally spot fixes.
Well, this is what... All right, so we'll begin with PVMP. So first off, for the siege mechanic, when creeps control a tower, they can summon ballistae within the landlock containing either Tirith or Lugazog. The same is true for the free peoples. While the enemy controls either Tirith or Lugazog, enemies may summon battering rams. Quests and tower control. While controlling a tower and owning the Grimwood lumber camp, the controlling faction gains access to build a gate at the bottom of the tower. Completing the quest 10 times constructs a gate, locks defenders into the keep, and locks the opposition out of the tower. Announcements are broadcast as the controlling moves through an effort of constructing the gate, informing the opposition how much progress has been made towards locking down the towers. Horror Hollow and Grotham. To give players a reason to visit the two villages in the Entmoors, we are adding 2 new targets to provide benefits to the towers when they are alive. At Grotham, a goblin hero rose from the ranks and now patrols the village. While he's alive, if the creeps control TR, TA, or Lugazog, monster players and defenders receive a 5% damage bonus and a 1% mitigation bonus at the controlled locations. At Horror Hollow, a hobbit hero rose from the ranks and patrols near the pipeweed field. Hobbits. While he's alive, if the Freeps control TR, TA, or Lugazog, players and defenders receive a 5% bonus to both their morale and power. There are no plans to make these targets quest objectives. Rather, they are objectives that should shift battle focus roughly every 15 minutes. For the forward camps located outside of Lugazog and Tirith, respectively, are now capture locations. The camp north of Tirith begins under the control of the monster player, and the camp south of Lugazog begins under the control of players. I presume they mean the free people players. Controlling the location grants access to the underseats. This new tunnel structure snakes under the Entmoors, connecting the forward camps to their respective towers via a direct route. The opposite forward camp via a winding color-coded route, the tower on the other side of the map via a winding color-coded route, and a battle arena in the depths called the Horrorfall. The underseats are not tied to the flipping respawn points on the landscape. Defeat the underseats means to retreat to your main base. This should make using the new cut-through alone very dangerous. There are exits into the basements of the two towers accessible from the underseats. Relics in the underseats. This new feature places two relics within the underseats. The first is a visage of Gil-galad, and the second is a visage of Sauron. Each hides behind a gate within the underseats tunnels. The relic nearest to the forward camp access from Lugazog belongs to the Freeps and can only be captured by the creeps. The relic nearest to the forward camp access to Tir Thrall belongs to the creeps and can only be captured by the Freeps. To access the relics, players or monster players must throw a lever on the opposite side of the underseats near the egress point to the corresponding forward camp. This will open a door on the opposite side of the underseats and allow a player or monster player to interact with the opposition's relic. War Leader's Clinging Fear potency has been increased and duration reduced. And the War Leader skill Quitter's Die is now correctly treated as a melee skill for the purposes of Clinging Fear. All right, so those are the PvMP changes. Any questions on those before we go into the Ettenmore's changes?
No.
All right. So why are there separate Ettenmore's entries? I don't know, but here we go. We'll find out. In order to restore a measure of parity to the march for monster players and mount skills for traditional players, we have increased the induction duration on the march skill by 0.75 seconds. All Ettenmore's buffs from the new vendors at Outposts should be removed when leaving the Ettenmore's. The War Leader skills Aura of Command and Aura of Protection now extend to 8 meters. Aklun's brand and Lamthal's insignia should now remove all negative effects upon use, provide 20 seconds of silence and disarm immunity, and remove all negative effects for the next 5 seconds. Capturing Lugazog and Tir Thrall now provide players with a key when the tower flips. This key unlocks the new chests appearing in the towers after holding the location for an hour. You can carry only one of these keys at a time. Using the chest still applies a recently looted debuff to you to limit how often that you can loot these chests. Battlefield promotion effects for players in the Ettenmore's were altered to apply a larger impact earlier in the advancement path to mirror more closely the chance made of the monster players. We have removed the ability for the War Leader skill field promotion to be used on session players. This means that the skill can no longer be used on Troll session players. We have changed how access to Troll and Ranger sessions in the Ettenmore's works. In order to qualify for Troll or Ranger sessions, your side of the fight must have 25 fewer players than the enemy to obtain a Troll or Ranger session. Reduced the time frame for Grodris returning to 60 minutes. Reduced the chances that Grodris will become locked in the middle of his or her encounter. Reduce the timer on the outpost flipping to neutral from 3 hours to 1 hour to push the players to lose and need to retake them more often. Aquaban's brand and the Tyrant ad Lenathal's insignia should no longer display their protection on the UI display. After reviewing the impact of pinning the central Entmoors to a single server, we have observed performance that is not meeting our expectations. We have therefore shifted the server pinning in the Entmoors back to the original 2024 configuration. We will continue to monitor the performance and intend to make other back-end adjustments over time to continue our efforts to improve the performance of this highly trafficked zone. So the pinning didn't quite work the way they thought. Glory reward changes. Glory rewards are no longer relative to ratings. This means by which ratings were tracked ceased to be very effective or relevant some time ago, mostly making the swings in this value relatively arbitrary and frustrating. So for now, we're decoupling it from the glory rewards so that these swings are not very impactful on play. Diminishing returns on repeatedly killing the same player now persist for 5 minutes. Note that this is tracked per attacker-defender pairing. We determined that the diminishing return decay timer was so short that for all intents, it had no effect. It has been extended to allow it to serve as a function properly, which means to prevent kill farming. Glory rewards begin to diminish slow once size increases past 12 and drop sharply at 25 plus group sizes. The goal of this change is to discourage the death ball meta, which tends to dominate the Etmors, and encourage players to break up into more manageable groups, fighting in separate areas of the map over multiple objectives. Unfortunately, as we are well aware, the death ball meta is very hard on server performance, and we have found that as we improve server performance technically, the death balls just get bigger in response until performance degrades to a threshold of discomfort. I presume by death ball means these massive multi-raid groups running all over the place, killing everything in their wake. Nobody knows?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, they're trying to keep too many people from being in the same area at the same time.
What about Weatherstock?
Well, Weatherstock is... yeah, that does create some problems, doesn't it? Let's just say that I think Weathertop gets its own server whenever Weatherstock is up.
Oh, that's too funny.
Just because I could just... yeah, because you know what happens over there on Weatherstock, yes. 500 players all trying to listen to the same concert. All right, anyway, that's it. What was in PvMP for update 45. But of course, there's more because
Hooray!
we also have the update 45.1 release notes. Let's see how much of that is overwritten. In update 45.1 is an errant multiplier for two-player groups in the Entmoors has been corrected. The error was reducing the amount of infamy glory to 5% instead of providing a 5% bonus before dividing the amount of infamy earned. Okay. Keys rewarded at Lugazog and Terrathral for capturing the location are now unique. The keys of Lugazog and Terrathral now grant properly when flipping a keep to your faction. Chests in the towers that grant rewards will now lock so that they can be used by other players. Rewards from chests at the towers now provide a decaying reward package item. This is done to ensure that loot in the chest is able to respawn. Players and monster players will no longer trigger aligned cauldrons at the towers of Lugazeg and Tir Thrall. Gates will no longer hold players in combat after being attacked in Tir Thrall or Lugazog. Health bonuses at the gate now stack correctly and apply lesser values. Tomes of Defense have been added to Outpost Barterers for 175 Marta and both Free Peoples and Monster players. And burglars hiding in plain sight now correctly activate Sneak within the Entmoors. So those are the PvP updates for 45.1. Now we have 45.1.1. Let's see. Actually, it looks like not much said about the Entmoors here. It was a news and notes. I'll read the whole one here because these are the ones that were just released this last week. And the burglar trait on a roll now only modifies the active cooldown on double down by 3 seconds, regardless of the rank. This change is temporary to address an issue where the trait is causing significant gameplay performance concerns. In other words, apparently last week's lag was being caused by an issue in double down on a roll interacting with double down. Players and monster players who previously earned or purchased portraits in the new season of the Nemesis Monster Player Reward Track should now have them available in their drop-down menus. We will be discussing the Monster Player Reward Track a little bit later. Monster players can now purchase buffs with commendations at the Outpost vendors. A duplicate appearance for the new Monster Player Defiler skins has been corrected. The prior version was identical to the Rushat High Defiler, and the new version is similar but distinct. A mismatch in the seasons of the Nemesis Monster Player Reward Track has been corrected, where a cosmetic selection box was overriding an appearance selection box. And as for known issues, we are working to correct an issue where the titles for the seasons of the Nemesis Monster Player Reward Track are not properly bestowed. We expect to correct this issue in the next game update. And you say, when is the next game update? That is actually expected to be next week, where they're expecting to release update 45.2. And 45.2, in addition to addressing known issues, they're also expecting to have the Farmers Fair so that we could start the Farmers Fair. And apparently they're planning on adding some new quests in Staddle. And there's also going to be a level cap boost for Angmar and the Mordor server. Okay, that's it for release notes. Any questions on release notes before we continue?
What's the level cap increase?
To 75.
Oh, good. I thought you were talking about in general a level cap increase, and I was like,
no. I just talked about for Angmar and Mordor.
Okay.
No. The level cap to 160. That's not going to be till November or December sometime. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of warning before that happens.
And plenty of lamenting.
Yeah, that'll be update 46. All right, so let's go into PvP Season 2. Update 45 brought major changes to the Entmoors in addition to Season 2 of the Monster Player Reward Track. The Reward Track is now available at the LOTRO store now through September 9th, 2025. This track is visible in the LOTRO store for any Monster Player character. VIPs get an automatic 50% discount on the point cost of the Monster Player Reward Track. Completing the Monster Player Reward Track awards Marta, which can be used to claim new rewards. Read more in our frequently asked questions. How long does the Monster Player Reward Track last? The Monster Player Reward Track is planned to expire 50 days after it begins. The end date is listed on the track UI. How do I purchase the Monster Player Reward Track? Only Monster Players can purchase the Monster Player Reward Track. You can access the track using Shift-I or by visiting the LOTRO store and searching for the reward track. How do I advance the Monster Player Reward Track? Nearly all daily quests in the Entmores provide 1,000 experience, and some of the more difficult daily quests may contribute more experience to the Monster Player Reward Track. Quests to build the gates or enhance gates of Lugazog or Terror Thrall contribute a smaller amount of experience towards the track, and weekly quests do not contribute to advance the reward track. It takes about 20 quests to earn 1 pip on the Monster Player Reward Track. Question: can I accelerate the Monster Player Reward Track? You can use Mithril coins to advance the track more quickly, if you choose. And what rewards can I get from the Monster Player Reward Track? The standard pip rewards is 100 Marta, a currency used in Monster Players to purchase enhancements, older skins, and other items to use in Monster Play. At reward track tiers 6, 18, 28, and 38, Monster Players acquire a selection box containing various cosmetic and March visual effects rewards to choose. At reward track tiers 10, 20, 30, 40, and 48, players receive a selection box containing a new appearance skins that they can choose from for their character. At reward tier 49, Monster players receive a special seasonal title, and at Monster tier 50, a Monster player receives the seasonal portrait frame. Rewards post tier 50 continue to grant 100 Marta to the player. And I noticed that the next post after this says 595 LOTRO points. I would presume that is the cost. I mean, so I'll assume that is the cost of it, though one cannot guarantee that. I mean, the person could have been posting it for some other reason, and I just don't fathom. And that's it for all we're discussing for Season 2 of the Reward Track. What exactly that means, I don't know. I don't do Monster Play. Have any of you tried anything in the Entmore since Update 45 released?
I have not.
I have not either.
Okay. Then let's go and check this. Look at the next item in there. Where Scenario had his latest Roads of Middle-earth episode in there, where he was running along in Gondor and doing. I think he also did some in Rohan. He also did some in Gondor in there, and next month they are planning to start the preview for the new region that's going to be coming out in Update 46. So they have not yet announced where we are going in Update 46. So I was wondering if any of you have any ideas where you think that they may be going?
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I was just looking at like a map of possibilities recently. I want Harad and Mumak mounts.
Yes. After getting I think Sans and I both had the same thought when we got our mammoths in ESO. Was this needs to exist in LOTRO?
Okay, so you want us then to head over to Ordach which I'm
okay.
pretty sure that Ordok is what they're like that. Because I think that the center of the Empire of Ordok is in what we call Far Harad. I'm pretty sure that won't be the name that they would use, but yeah. Oh, so you're looking for Mumak mounts?
Yes, and I think Harad would be the most likely place to give us those. So I vote for that.
Well, the one thing that I have on wondering about whether or not we are going there, because even though there's sounds logical that we would be going in that direction, is that I think we were told not to expect camel mounts in update 46. And I'm saying, I mean, if they're ever going to introduce camel mounts, it would be in an update for Far Harad, because I think that's the most likely place for camels to live.
Well, okay, yes, but
I know
I don't want camel mounts instead of Mumaks. I want both. Okay. Can we have both and?
Right. So
it would be fun.
But you're right. The storyline sounds like it's going to go into Far Harad simply because, all right, actually, this is a good question, because none of us has finished the new raid yet, so we don't know yet. But it sounds like I've heard a rumor that a certain important person that we've been following got killed in that raid. And if that's true, then I mean, the person who is most likely to lead us towards Far Harad, I think, got killed in that raid. So I'm wondering, well, where are we going to go? Now, of course, there's always the possibility that we will be going there anyway because of what they are trying to do to Amarul. But there is this whole question about the Song of Waves and Wind. What is it? And where, it's hard to think. Is Far Harad going to be the home of the Song of Waves and Wind? I don't know. But has anyone tried to figure out what the Song of Waves and Wind is yet?
Well, okay, I'm just going to tell you, but you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's a remix of Ice Ice Baby.
Well,
that's it.
I mean, we've got a whole area up by Fort Hill we could go into.
You're in the desert, you're suffering, you're thirsty. What do you want? Ice, ice, baby.
Okay.
I mean, sand moves like waves in the wind.
So then you're thinking of waves of sand as opposed to waves of water, then?
Or maybe we've got the waves right now with the water, and we need the wind. Or maybe we get a hurricane.
Okay,
blame it on the waves.
Or like a tsunami and a hurricane.
A tsunami and a hurricane.
I hope not. That sounds painful.
I would think it'd be more likely than that. I mean, if you have a hurricane, you're probably going to get wave surge, or
a storm surge.
So, yeah, a storm surge. That's the right word. A storm. You're likely to get a storm surge. You don't need a tsunami. A storm surge could, on an unprotected location, could do just about as much damage.
That's true. Very true.
I mean, so okay, so maybe he'll try to create a hurricane. Then you're thinking.
I think that the Song of Waves and Wind was a way to move you from Gondor to Umbar and what I guess would be like the far east of the map, where you have the wind driving the wave runner over the waves, like the literal waves of the sea, was how I had always envisioned it.
I think I missed something in that.
Okay.
So you're all right, because the Song of Waves and Wind is supposed to be something that's going to destroy Gondor.
I think. Okay, so maybe I'm the one who missed it. But I felt like it was a way to transition the storyline to what's happening in Umbar and what is going to come that's supposed to destroy it, but I don't think the title is literally what's going to destroy Gondor. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like, I think that was a literary device to help us transition into this area and to connect the area. And then I think the reverse could also be true for how it's going to take us back to Gondor.
Well, and couldn't the Song of Waves and Wind be, if somebody's singing a song on the waves and the wind, wouldn't that be a bunch of like maybe corsairs or sailors sailing their boats over to Gondor and
sea shanty your way across?
Well, maybe you would. I'd still send. I'd sing quality songs like the remix of Ice Ice Baby.
All right, so you think that that despite what I said, that it's most likely that we are heading down into Far Harad, where hopefully we will find Mumak mounts.
Well, I came up with an idea, but I think it's too crazy for SSD to implement. Yeah. And that would be that Sauron escapes from one of the legendary servers where he hadn't died yet. It was one of the dark worlds. And when this world went dark, he managed to character transfer out of it into one of the other servers. And now Sauron is back. And wiser. Now I know what you guys did to defeat me. I'm not going to be in that tower staring at everybody. No way. I'm going to be on a Mumak. I'm going to be a mobile target now. You guys will never find me.
Okay.
But I feel like that's maybe a little too out of canon to be possible.
I think it might be. I mean, there's a reason why the previous expansion was called The Legacy of Morgoth and not The Legacy of Sauron.
Imagine if 3 Saurons transferred to the same server.
3 Saurons to the same server?
I don't think it would be possible. They'd lag the whole thing out and it'd crash.
Yeah, no, but you'll be Sauron-1, Sauron-2, and Sauron-3.
Oh, yeah, they'd be fighting over who's Sauron 1.
Yeah, that'd be
Sauron 1.
Each other.
Multi-boxing Sauron.
Multi-box Sauron, yes, that is it. We'll see that'll give a couple extra million hit points, or is it billion hit points, to the Sauron that you run into in the Karis Galevran skirmish.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, because I was trying to think. All right, because at one time I was thinking it was Harn that made them be heading towards Harondor, but it's been pretty much said by, I think, Quarterman, who said, no, we are not going anywhere in that direction at this time period. So that's out. I mean, how about going east? I mean, way east? As how we wind up in Rune from where we're at, I have no idea. But or how about Nern?
So if a bunch of like hobbits and elves and dwarves can roam the prancing pony with abandon in this in our gaming worlds. Why can't we just go to the Undying Lands? A bunch of orcs and humans, and why don't we just show up there one day and say, "Hey, we heard we die if we come here. Is that true? Let me see. I'm gonna touch this."
Can't touch this.
But that would certainly be a pivot, wouldn't it? It'd be cool to see the Undying Lands too, wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be? I think it would be.
Yes, but also like then you might be shaping people's ideas of what that would be. And I kind of like being able to just imagine that on my own.
Picturing like the end of LOTRO being all of us getting on a boat sailing to the Undying Lands and the screen just fading to black.
And then fading to light again as we're rejected and have to return.
Okay, that would be a fun way to handle it.
With a ship going into a sunrise or sunset or something.
That would be a good way to end it too.
I think you sail west, don't you? To get to the Undying Lands.
Oh yeah, so it'd have to be a sunset if it's like sailed off into color.
I like Krister's idea of being rejected and sent back.
Rejected.
Unless you're on an elf, in which case your game just ends.
Yes.
Oh man, we get one of those things, like major rubber banding effect on the boat.
You rubber band into the ocean and die.
No, like your whole boat gets rubber banded back to where you started and you're disembarked.
That would be funny.
Now that would, the latency thing would be awesome.
If they made it so that was actually what was supposed to happen, everyone's like, no, I just lagged back into Middle Earth.
Oopsie daisy. Well, maybe that's how the ban is enforced, is because everyone thought it was that they curved the world so that if you try to sail west, you will just circle around back to your beginning spot. But instead, you just lag back to your spot. So therefore, that means that lag is lore appropriate.
You do feel like lag is a tool in the boss's toolkit when they're fighting us. Yeah. I'm about to lose, crash.
Well, yeah. Those bosses, they just can't be trusted. Yeah. Let's head on to our next thing, where it looks like the next week we are going to have an episode of We Have a Cave Troll, where Scenario and Orion have their own little discussion of something to do about the game development and all of that. So we'll have another one of those episodes next week. So let's head on to store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
Double bonus points is back, and you can get twice the bonus points in the LOTRO store through August 17th, as well as 25% off of Milestone Skills, Hurried Traveler, and Returning Traveler, which are absolutely fantastic, especially if you're racing a hunter or a set of hunters. 5-minute cooldowns for things like in an Ale League runs. You can also get 25% off advanced riding traits and rally horns through August 14th, just in case your supply from the Hobbit presence is running low on the rally horns. And you can also use the weekly coupon for a free simple rally horn, again, in case your Hobbit presents haven't been delivering, with coupon code AssembleTome, now through August 14th.
That is assemble to me.
Oh, assemble to me. Sorry. It's spelled the same in my defense.
I looked at that and said assemble tome too.
In my defense, it's spelled the same.
Yes.
You can read it however you would like, whoever is reading the show notes. It's personal preference.
Oh, let's see what your personal preference was and what you played last week. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, I've put all my concerns aside about my gear and everything. I believe I'm fully functional in the current raid and doing just fine. Last night we got through boss 1 okay, and then boss 2 we had problems with. However, I think that's just a matter of learning the timing and the tactics, and we'll be fine. So I had fun doing the raid, and then this week I played ESO 2, and of course, talking once more about the mammoth mount in ESO and how wonderful it would be to have its equivalent in LOTRO. And then I loaded Kerbal Space Program up again, and I went through this phase where I created a bunch of planes that had a bunch of launchable missiles. So I got all those out and bombed the empty wasteland of the Kerbal world, just for my own amusement. There's no real point in doing it. But that was my week in gaming. Cinders, how about you?
I was part of the raid last night doing Tub Wing 1, and we died a lot, so much death. But we started seeing some improvements when Krister switched to his healing line, and it was so nice to be staying alive and then to have some help with the off-tanking. That was a lot of fun. And
we even got to have the Captain's Lament, though, too.
Yep,
where
yep.
This is the Captain's Lament. Somebody goes, I think you said it. You're like, oh, you're healing great to Looney. And I'm like, yeah, he is. I wonder why that's happening. I wonder why he's healing great. Let me think about that. But that was awesome, too.
Well, let's say Looney had been feeling like he'd been healing poorly. So I was trying to cheer him on. I have no idea who was actually
He was healing
me.
fine.
I'm presuming I was getting heals from both of you. But I never like to discourage my healer. I think that's bad form.
We learned that too in Ploy, but we also learned that Ploy healers don't really care if you live or die, which is also a factor in it.
Right, and I really like to live, so never pissing off your
Me too.
healer
I'm a fan of living.
Yep. Don't piss off the healer. Then I have opened all of the Umbar dailies except the ones in Rakatab on Cinderina. I was working on those with one of Sanswinda's alts, and I think we still need to go finish opening them up. I think it was Calandria and I was doing it with. She needs to get Rakatab open, and then instead of playing games, I spent my time making loads and loads of Lotro inspired food. And trying it, including mushroom pie and mushroom soup. Turns out I'm not really a mushroom fan. And then I made cherry jam and blackberry jam and blueberry muffins and all sorts of other delicious stuff. So that was my week in gaming. Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I ran around Moria on my burglar with Grindus, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, our burglars were still doing good damage, so that was nice. I started getting ready to go after Nori's expedition with Dory on the field trip in secret. But of course, it was morning when we were ready to meet up with them, and you can't meet up with them until nighttime, so that had to wait. But we got ready. And then I raided with Ploy, and that was a lot of fun, even though we died a lot. And I acquired an awesome mammoth mount in ESO, and that's amazing. And you can make it trumpet, and I need it in LOTRO too. Or even better, a Mumak mount.
What do you need to do in order to get a mammoth mount?
You can buy it in the crown store.
Yeah. Okay.
And since I hadn't spent my crowns from my subscription, I had plenty of crowns for it.
Okay.
Just a note, if any devs are listening, Sanswinda, and I'm sure many others, would pay money, real money, to have a Mumak in LOTRO as a mount.
Yeah.
Well,
also to have war states at level 1.
That's not going to happen.
I'm just putting it out into the universe that I would pay for that.
How about Mumak mounted kin houses?
Okay, that would be kind of awesome, but also probably unlikely. So that was pretty much my week, though. How was your week, Pineleaf?
All right. Well, my mariner finished questing in the East Wall, which means that I'm heading to Langhold, where I have a feeling I'm going to be running into a war steed at some point during that questing. My lore master searched for a missing Mumak.
Hey, it's mine! It's mine! Did you find it yet? Oh, wait.
Your baby Mumak is running amok again?
Oh, I was hoping it was my new Mumak mount.
Oh, sorry.
I really think, though, that we should have been able to tame the Mumak that we helped.
Well,
Anyway.
I guess maybe because you could just imagine a King's Gondor version of Athelion where you do look for that Mumak again, and the quest reward is that Mumak is a mount.
I think it would be the best thing that could have done. Even if I had to go back and do the whole quest again.
To say every single one of your characters would do that quest.
I have way more high-level characters.
Yeah. And for Friday Night Fights, my burglar joined in some small fellowship instances. We ran the Seat of the Great Goblin and Woe of the Willow. And that's it for my week in LOTRO. If you would like to send us some feedback, you can send it to podcast@lotrplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at lotrplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight then. This is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.